G'day, Jimbo here, and I just want to do a follow-up on my last post. Fucking 13 minutes. I'm surprised anyone looked at it at all. I want to basically address the criticisms, which I think is important. The first complaint is the odd person who fucking writes in and says, you know, I don't think you should swear. You know, I mean, these people, they think that swearing and being clever are mutually exclusive. And to me, if you're one of those people, I just think you're a dumb cunt. The second complaint was, fucking look, can't just stick to the comedy. I am a comedian talking about politics, but that's just the way the world is at the moment. Comedians are talking about politics, and politicians are a joke. And I mean, look at the Tony Abbott. Fucking hell, I mean, you know, I mean, the guy's got no fucking idea. I think the only, you know, but maybe he has, but maybe he's just got no room to talk. I mean, the other day he was eating an onion on live TV, a raw onion. I mean, it's not that bad. Not that bad. And, you know, perhaps this guy can't actually talk about shit, so he's just giving us a subliminal message, just saying, look, I ride a bicycle 100 kilometres a day and I eat raw food. Fucking get into it. Because you're fucking going to have to do it. Fuck, my eyes are starting to water. Hey, but the reality is, a lot of people's eyes are starting to water now because the world's pretty fucked. Anyway, on to one of the next complaints. It was only a few. It was just the typical fucking abos, fucking, you know, fucking get a job, you lazy cunts. I mean, look, if you're thinking like that, you're completely missing the point of what I was saying in this post, and that is to get Aboriginal, Indigenous people to join this modern momentum of civilization is not the point, because we're questioning where this momentum of modern civilization is going. And there's other people who are saying, look, you know, you're saying free up the free economy and all this stuff, but I live in air conditioning and I love my creature comforts, and, you know, I don't want to just go out and scavenge on the land for food. This is not about that either. This is not a anti-rich or a pro-poor idea. It's just a pro-life idea. And if you do not want to live on the land and grow food, that's cool, but your security should be based on people who do want to do that. And the point is, there are a lot of people wanting to live a simpler life now. And as you go down the scale in society, you're like downwardly mobile to try and live a simple life, there are a fucking lot of barriers being put up. Like, you just get fined, you're just not allowed, you get put in jail, you get shot if you speak out too much, killed. And what the people who don't want to live off the land should be doing is fighting for the rights of the people who do, and that's been taken away from Indigenous people, it's been taken away from farmers, and it's been taken away from just freak off the grid people who are struggling for their right to just live a simple life, because everything is being monetized. We live in a world where everything costs money, but money doesn't cost anything, which brings me to the central point on my last post, which I'm just blown away and fairly frightened by the fact that no one has even discussed it. Even after the post, no one has even talked about it, or I just don't see it discussed anywhere. Koshi, you're an economist, fucking can you talk about this? This is a big issue. Interest rates are heading towards zero. The chief economist of the Bank of England has basically said interest rates have never been this low in the history of money. Now, we've had hyperinflation where things just get out of control and people have got to put money in wheelbarrows just to buy a coffee. But at least when that happens, it escalates and people go, fuck, this is getting out of control. When interest rates go down below zero, that is the money event horizon. Now, what I'm talking about is, this is for lending rates. If a bank says just 1% negative lending rate, that means you can go to a bank and go, 100 bucks, and they go, well, all you got to do is give us 99 back. So you instantly make money. You instantly make $1. So all you got to do is borrow more money and you make more money. No one's going to fucking work for money. And so the whole thing collapses, and no one is talking about that. Like, interest rates for the Federal Reserve in America are about 0.6%. We're getting fucking close. And what is this low interest rates creating? If they're trying to create inflation by flooding the market and low interest rates, but they haven't been able to do it. It's like someone trying to rev their car and going, when the fuck's this cunt going to start? And that's what the reserve banks of the world are doing. They're going, fuck, inflation isn't working. And they're recognising this. They're going, well, why would it work? Like, the housing and stock markets are going up 10% a year. So if you're rich, why don't you just borrow money at 1% and then just dump them into housing and stock markets, and you're making 9% for doing fuck all. And that's just keep going. So there's massive bubbles happening. But when the next crash happens, it's not going to be like the last crash, because interest rates cannot really get any lower before it hits this money event horizon. You just can't lower it, and you can't flush more money in because they've already been doing it. That's fucking it. So we should be talking about this situation. Politicians are not talking about anything now. The usual debate in politics is, oh, let's raise taxes. You can't raise taxes because the rich are going, well, fuck, all our money's based in asset bubbles. It's not cash anymore. And, you know, and you can't, and the other argument is, oh, let's increase infrastructure. You can't do that. Governments are so fucking in debt now. It's bullshit. Like, giving tax money to a government is like giving money to a friend who's a meth addict who just keeps on giving it to a dealer. That's what governments are doing. They're just giving it to their dealer, which is the people who create money. So I want this post, if it does create a discussion, just to discuss this. What actually happens? I know this is something that no one wants to think about. What actually happens when interest rates go below zero? Now, most people are just basically going, that's just not going to happen, and it's not, because the system that keeps this in place, the people who create money, are just going to create martial law. We're going to go from the nanny state to the police state, and it's pretty easy to do. You look at the cops, especially in Australia. There's so many cops just roaming around giving people fucking stupid fines, you know, and they're just revenue raisers. They're not, you know, going after crime. They're going, fuck, if I'm going to go after a criminal, I'm going to go after a soft target. Fucking easier day. The goat track. You can't have goats up here.
Especially in public, mate. Yeah.
But it's called the goat track.
I was about to ring it, get it impounded, actually.
All right. Because here, it says here dogs must be leashed at all times.
No, that doesn't matter.
Doesn't it?
No, under the local law, it's got defined as a goat as well.
As a dog, as a goat?
No, it's got defined as an animal. You're recording me, eh?
Oh, I'm trying to get footage of the goat.
You're recording me?
Yeah.
You can't record an officer, mate. You'll have to delete that.
Oh, right, okay, no worries. The fact is, there is a lot of police out there, and there's a lot of army out there. We put a lot of resources into this. Now, if the rate goes below zero, all money, and anyone who works for a job, you know, pushing paper or whatever, just to get money, it's not going to happen anymore. So what's going to happen then? Now, what I think is going to happen is martial law is going to come in. Now, the obvious thing is, oh, if no money is there, all the police and the army, they're just going to peel off their uniform and join the mob because, you know, they're not getting paid. But the reality is, people are going to be wanting food the most. And like I said in the last post, people have been disconnected to their connection with food. Indigenous people and farmers. It's been agribusiness has taken it over. So that's going to be the new money. It's food. And the system is in full control of the food system at the moment. So martial law is going to come in based on you implement this law, you force people to do this shit, otherwise you're going to starve and be shot. And if anyone else doesn't obey what you're doing, fucking shoot them or starve them. That's basically it. And if that doesn't work, they'll just fucking start World War III. The bases are loaded. And, you know, if people are fucking taking sides, ISIS, America, Israel, Russia, China, you just like, say, the National Football League or whatever. They don't give a fuck what team wins. They just want people to be barracking for a team. And that's what they all want you to do with this war thing. They just want you to be barracking for your country or your religion or whatever. But they don't give a fuck who wins. Just as long as whoever wins is using their currency so that out of the rubble they can keep their system going. And people are going, well, why would they do that? You know, they live on this planet as well. Why would they pollute it and fuck up this world because they're here as well, Jimbo? That's stupid. But that's like saying, why does cancer fucking kill someone? When, you know, when cancer kills someone, the cancer dies as well. You can't get cancer off a dead person. It's just a fucked up thing. And this system we've got in place is a truly fucked up thing. It kills life. The only thing we know is in the universe on our planet exclusively. Perhaps it's somewhere else, but we haven't fucking found it yet. And until we do find it, how about we not fuck this joint up? So that's what the VOTEGOAT thing is about. It's a pro-life party. And if people are worried about standing up to this system, Gary doesn't give a fuck. And if a lot of other people don't give a fuck as well, we can maybe change something. So VOTEGOAT, you don't have to write it on your ballot paper if you don't want to. Just fucking write it anywhere. Just talk about it. New MacDonald at a farm, E-I-E-I-O. And on that farm there were pesticides, which means you only have to grow one crop now and spray the fuck out of it. Everything is being monetised now, especially these seeds. That's just fucking so wrong. I mean, the argument is, oh, we've got to do GM seeds which don't reproduce because that's the only way we can feed the world. It's fucking bullshit. The argument for doing this is if we disconnect people from seeds that reproduce themselves, we disconnect people from feeding themselves. And this tax thing, fucking hell, I mean, they're taxing everything. I mean, the carbon taxes, fuck, that's one of the biggest joke tax I've ever heard. I mean, and for this reason, the carbon tax is basically, you know, a company can say, look, yeah, fuck, I polluted a river, but I, you know, planted a whole lot of trees in South America, therefore I'm carbon neutral. In fact, I'm not carbon neutral, I've got carbon credits, so I get money for doing that. Can you imagine if individuals were treated the same way? Like, say you went to court for murder, and you went, yeah, fuck, I murdered him, but since then I've got 4 women pregnant. And the judge went, well, okay, you'll fucking, that cancels out that murder. In fact, you've got some life credits there, and then the judge sends you away with some money. That's the same system. Where does most of our tax money goes to? It goes to war, it goes to medical industries, and it goes to subsidising the food industries. That's fucking where most of the tax money goes for. And the war industry, the modern medical industry, and the modern agribusiness industry are all vertical integrations of the fossil fuel industries. Back 100 years ago, they went, fuck, we've got a Rockefeller and all that went, we've got a fucking monopoly on oil. Fucking, I know, how about we look into the people who buy our oil and see who gets the biggest markup, and let's go into those industries. And that's what they did. They created the modern medical industry. Rockefeller did it in about 1914. He just bought out all the universities, he paid off all the governments, and he bought out all the media, and he just basically told them that anything alternate to the modern medical industry of drugging and surgery, cutting you up, is for snakeskin salesmen. And you know, the irony is Rockefeller died in the late 30s at the age of 97, and he only ever went to a homeopath. Fucking, he lived a clean life, exercised, ate simple food, and when he got sick, he went to a homeopath. And he only went to a homeopath because he didn't need to go to modern medicine because he hadn't fucked himself up. But the modern medicine industry doesn't concentrate on prevention at all because there's no money in it. It's also an addictive thing. Most people are so busy now paying off taxes and trying to keep their head above water financially. When they go to the doctor when they're sick, if the doctor said, look, I think you should just eat raw onions and raw food and exercise a bit more, they're going to go, fuck off, cunt, I'm going to go to another drug dealer. And the doctor's going to be going, fuck, I can't keep saying this, because by the time most doctors realise that the medical system is causing more sickness than health, they're mortgaged up to the hilt. They've got an expensive partner, they've got expensive kids, education, and a lifestyle which will just all crumble if they start telling people to live simply. Modern medicine does do some good things, but overall it's fucking causing a fucking boom in chronic diseases, and it's, you know, it doesn't concentrate on that. All it just says is fucking, oh, we fucking cured polio and smallpox. I mean, fuck, with vaccines. Look at the origins of vaccines. It was in the First World War. It was heavy vaccine experimentation on World War I soldiers. They fucking just pumped them with these vaccines, and then the soldiers got sick, and then they went, oh fuck, we better do another vaccine. And they got sicker, and they got sicker, and then finally this fucking massive influenza happened, which took out more people than the whole First World War. And what did they call this influenza? They named it after the one country in Europe which wasn't involved in the First World War. They call it the Spanish flu because they didn't want people to link it to vaccine experimentation in the First World War. And if you look at the polio and the smallpox epidemics, these both happened in the 20th century after heavy vaccine experimentation. And they have wiped out those two when they finally got the vaccine right. The argument against the modern medicine is that the profits that have been made from chronic disease are fucking huge, and they outweigh the gains made from containing infectious diseases. I mean, infectious diseases have been got on top of by modern medicine, but you think about infectious disease, someone just fucking gets an infectious disease, they fucking die. They just die. There's not really much chance to make money out of them anyway. Whereas a chronic disease, you can fucking make so much money out of someone with chronic disease because it's just a slow descent, and it's usually a descent that happens when you're at the peak of your earning. You know, your 40s, 50s and 60s. You know, it's like, fuck, you'll give anything to get rid of cancer, heart disease, diabetes, mental illness, asthma. You'll fucking give them everything you got, insurance, everything. And, you know, governments will give the medical industry tax money, everything. And they just go, fucking thank you very much. But they don't look at the cause. They don't, you know, there's no one fucking raising money to look into the cause of cancer. They fucking raise money to look into the cure for cancer because there's more money in that. The apologists for the modern medical industry have got one argument. All their arguments come down to this one thing. Hey, we're living longer. They say the average age Australian's dyer is 80. That is the fucking biggest load of bullshit. Like, think about it. If you think about all the people you know have died, you know, childhood, car accidents when they're young, drug overdoses, suicide, cancer, fucking all the, you know, whatever. And if you added them up, does it come to 80? It doesn't. Someone, you know, dies at 40. That means that you've got to know someone who lived to 120 to even out that equation. The idea that the average age that people live to is 80 is a crock of shit. There's not one person on the planet who can add up all the deaths they know and go, you know what, fucking the average was 80. It's a load of bullshit, and people just swallow that fact and pass it on without thinking about it and use it as an excuse for the modern medical industry. And if you think about the source of that fact, it's not true, and that's what's happening to the world. Fucking bullshit information is being given out, and then like people just repeat it. Educational institutes repeat it, media repeats it, government repeats it until everyone fucking says it, and then, you know, it's conventional wisdom, and you'd be an idiot to disagree with it. And, you know, conventional wisdom was coined by Galbraith, the economist, who basically said conventional wisdom is just information repeated by the influential and powerful to the point where if anyone disagrees with it, they're shut out. And, you know, it was a tongue-in-cheek term. Conventional wisdom is fucked at the moment. It's leading humanity down a blind alley. And that's what VOTEGOAT stands for. It's just questioning conventional wisdom and trying to get some solutions. And our solution is free up the free economy. Stop monetising it. Fucking let people live without money. And this should be promoted by the people who want money. Their security should be based on the fact that there are people out there growing food and loving giving it away, so that when things fuck up, there's always food around. So that and there's going to be an abundance of food. Even the UN has said if everyone goes into organic farming worldwide, it's going to serve the food needs of the world far better than the current food system where, you know, apples are flown right around the world just to fucking get to a target market. And then, you know, the fucking apples where the target market are growing are flowing back to the place where the other apples are growing. It's a fucking load of shit. Alright, I know there's a lot of kids out there watching this, so Gaz and I thought we'd pass on a handy hint. If you're worried about zits and your face turning into Crater Valley, the best thing you can do is just get some fresh urine, right? Top it up with your own as well. No worries, if you're a girl, just use a funnel. Then, right, just get a cotton bud and just put it all over your face because it's sterile and it just disinfects any sores. You know, it works well for cuts, anything really. Don't go to your doctor or buy Proactive or any of that shit. They're just trying to get your money. This is cheap. It doesn't cost anything and it works better. The benchmark for whether modern medicine is doing a good job should be how many times do you need to go to the doctor. The average amount of time that people need to go and see a doctor in Australia is 6 times a year. That's the average. People going every 2 months to see their doctor. Now that's a medical system that is working for itself, not the patients. But The thing now is it's that working for itself is even finishing for the medical industry. Warren Buffett has even said that the medical industry is a tapeworm in the American economy, and by that he means that the cost of free medical care and everything is going up and up and up, but tax revenue, which free medical care gets taken out of, is going down and shrinking. So this cannot keep going. It's just fucking a mathematical impossibility. It's going to explode. It's going to fucking fall in on itself. Unless we all get jabbed and medicated to the point where we've got an inability to question this status quo. This is bullshit, everyone. They're forcing us to be dependent on their money, their food, their medicines, and their economic ideas and their wars, and it's fucking bullshit. And we've only got a limited amount of time to fucking turn this around, and that limited amount of time is before interest rates get to zero for a lending rate, because when it gets to there, the only alternative is fucking the police state or World War III. And what VOTEGOAT is basically saying is, let's free up the free economy, let's put our security and dependency on life, man, because it's fucking all out there. Let's fucking take it and get this human race back on track.
Run again!
Yeah, righto. Let's go, Gary!